Lola Ibe was buried here in 1929. 10 years after, the family found her tomb open and discovered her well-preserved corpse.
Ginpagawaan siya doon ng kuan ng daw si baba ng nitso, ng daw building ay ng tapi nga may kuan, may sin nga atop nga igo-igo lang bala sa may nitso bala si baba sa nitso. Dito dugay pa na sa tuya sa patio. Madugay na sa inang magbisita ang mga tao, ginadala pa nato sila sa patio. After the war, amo na di ang pagdala sa iya sa balay. Lugay pa na nga ginpaubrahan sa dasang sang building man.
Are we alone in the universe? Is there a portal to the past? Can we physically travel through time? And can a person come back from the dead? These are just a few of the questions that have continued to baffle and bewilder us, though many have tried to answer them. Not one definite conclusion has yet been given. This show will tackle that which is unexpected, unexplainable, and unorthodox. Is it destiny's sleight of hand? Or is it a nudge from God? Or maybe it's simply a matter of science. Chances are, anything is possible. The province of Capiz has long had a reputation for bizarre, eerie, and odd occurrences for as long as anyone can remember. It's kept a lot of people away from this place, but it's also attracted a horde of visitors. Strangely, the strange has become one of the province's prized treasures. And tonight, we've dug up another one, an 80-year-old corpse that simply refuses to decay.
In the coastal town of Kasanayan in Pilar, Capiz, people regularly visit this place, the home of Lasing. For here hang the remains of Maria Basames, or Lola Ibe.
It's a mummy, I have no point of comparison, no? But that's how I would imagine a mummy would look like. It looks like a piece of wood, no? Parang dark brown, if I remember correctly yung story, yung color niya. At an initial quick glance, you won't even identify na it's a person.
Since the 1960s, people have been coming by the truckloads to take a peek at Lola Ibe's preserved body. About 3 years ago, a group of devotees started venerating the mummy and claimed that it is miraculous and has healing powers. Lasing and his cousin Lola Maria have been the mummy's caretakers since 1972. But besides looking after the corpse, they simply let the devotees do their thing.
Sila na alam mo ko suguan, bantayan ko malang sila. Gusto ka pamangkot na sila, tanong mo sila kung anong pitsa namatay, anong pitsa ng kuhan. Ay, nasagot ko man.
Oo, okay lang. Oo, hindi naman na hindi naman na masama ang nagdadasal sila.
Ako nagsakit ako mga 1 year mag-asakit ko. Sa 2008, gasakit ng akon, galingin ng akon ulo. Dayon ang akon nga kilid, medyo gasakit ko.
Bahay, sabi ng asawa ko, nagpunta ka doon kay Lola Ebe kasi maraming nagpupunta doon ng mga deboto, hapon-hapon. Sabi ko nga, para ulit makadebosyon ako, makapagpananampalataya man lang sa kanya. Iyon na naman, nakabalik ako hanggang ngayon. At ako sa kanya na Mula ngayon hanggang may buhay, magsisilbi ulit ako sa kanya.
This is Maria Luisa. She claims that the spirit of Lola Ibe takes over her body once in a while.
Ang ako, parang sinasabi niya na sa akin ni Maria Bibi, yung santa, na na sukliban niya yung katawan ko dahil siya daw nagpapakita ng isa ka mirakulo, ganun. Ayun lang, sinasabi niya nga, puntahan ko ang mga apo niya, sabihin nga buhay daw siya.
Hikapon niyo ang akon mga tiil.
Taiko Lasing, however, doesn't buy it.
Kung totoo nga siya si Lola Ibe na nga nagsuib siya, tinanong saan kung pila ang apo ni Lola Ibe. Siling niya, 5. 4 lang sila, 5 ang siling niya. Hindi ko naman naniwala si Lola Ebe nagsapi siya. 11. Hindi naman na pwede siguro. Hindi naman itong anak niya sa una, hindi naman magsugot nga ibalik 11 liwat. Kaya wala man baho. Wala man sa ginaano nga mahadlukas ng tao.
The public health officer clears that there's nothing in the books that would require them to bury Lola Ibe and sees cultural and ethical issues on the matter.
Much like the culture is in somewhere there in the north, diba? May mummified remains as well in the Cordilleras, if I understand right. So it's still there in the caves. So that's the culture that they put them in the cave. So locally, the culture is to bury. So of course, we would want to urge them to rebury out of respect to the dead. No? But if they want to make a spectacle out of it, we would strongly discourage them, of course, just to respect the dead.
When chances are returns, we'll dust off the pages of Lola Ibe's life. Since 1939, after her family discovered her well-preserved remains, Maria Basanes, or Lola Ibe, has been literally off the ground. After 8 decades, her body has remained intact and is now being venerated by a group of devotees. But who is Lola Ibe?
Sa ilalim, kaya wala pa ng ibabaw na. Manindingan niya.
Taiko Lasing, caretaker of Lola Ibe's mummy, took us to the cemetery where Lola Ibe was buried.
Ang kulpo, tiyo. Kaya ang ginblos pag-libing, ang kulpo, ang tatay ko, papa ko. Bata pa ko, pero ara ako nagaralantaw, kaya ang tiyo ko mo nagkuhan sa nitso. Pag-unos mo na, bilog. Buo ang katawan. May muscle pa niya. Oo, may muscle. Ang tinain niya, nagkakakuha pa niyo. Ang bayo niya, luma na, nagkapilit-pilit na lang siya lawas.
They're surprised na buo pa. Hinukay siya. Parang priska, bilog ang lawas siya, bilog. Wala siya parang litson ko do ang kanyang panit. Maski kundi ilalang inilagay sa lang sang atop sa nang daw bilang palapala lang bala. Oo. Lubong. Oo, bubong lang bala, nga matabunan lang bala siya.
Lola Mary is a direct descendant of Lola Ibe. She is the daughter of Lola Ibe's only son, Jesus. According to her, Lola Ibe lived a fairly normal life. She took care of their small business, a bakery. Apart from the usual baking ingredients and the usual conditions inside a bakery, she was never exposed to anything out of the ordinary. She eventually died of a heart attack in 1929. The family claims that Lola Ibe's remains was never embalmed. This was not unusual in the 1920s, especially in the provinces. Initially, they did encounter some resistance from the government.
Hindi man gusto ng mga sa Bureau of Health nga dalon diri mo. Isang ulihin na lang na lang kami sa kanila na kung pwede dito na lang kay mahirap sa amin nga kung maraming mga tao ang nagbisita.
Up until the 70s, when Jesus was still alive, he took care of his mother's corpse.
Ang sabi ni Papa Anay, siya nakunan niya kuno, pero sabi ko nung mag-awa nang daw iya mo lang kuno sinagi na kadtuan simbahan. Dason inang mag-away kuno na sila sa tosang lolo ko. Nang nagakuan na akong siya dayon niya galuhod sa altar kag kuan pangamuyo.
In 1979, Jesus passed away and left the mummy to his daughter and nephew Colasing.
Nagpilimin ako dito sa Kasnayan mga halin sa 1962. Diri mga kami nagati-star pero wala ako dito sa kuan kay ko sa luwas nagatrabaho.
Like Tay Colasing and Lola Mary, the younger members of the family are tasked to take care of the mummy in the future. With the approval of the family, we brought in Dr. Noel Martinez, a medical legal, to examine Lola Ibe's remains and possibly shed light on the matter.
Wala nang laman yan. Actually, ang ano niya, ang natira dyan is only the skin. Yung mga muscles niya, yung mga wala na, nipis na yan. Kaya pumayat siya. Nawawala na yung mga muscles doon. Tapos yung mga laman loob niya, wala na yan. So, ang natira dyan is just only a skin and bones. Bones. At saka, yan, tama yan. Dahil tuyong-tuyo na yan, dahil skin at saka bones.
The medical legal explains there are factors why Lola Ibe's body remained intact, but her condition before she died or chemicals applied on her were ruled out. This leaves the favorable conditions of her tomb.
Yung pag-preserve nila ng katawan. So, sa pagtanong ko dito, hindi daw nireserve dahil pre-war pa to. Hindi pa uso noon nung una yung preservation ng patay. Pinapasok lang sa ataol at saka sa nitso, saka nilibing. Kung sa nitso, sa taas, sumaring ang nitso ay airtight masyado na hindi makapasok yung hangin at saka yung tubig. Hindi nagmo-moisture doon ang tubig sa loob.
The airtight tomb did not permit the bacteria responsible for decay to thrive.
Iyon ang pinanggalingan ng tinatawag nating uod. Bakterya yan eh. Na once na wala na yung namatay yung tao, wala nang defense system, wala na depensa sa katawan yung tao, lalabas na yung uod. Sa case nito ni Lola Ibe na kasi naka-airtight yung ano niya eh. So, ang bakterya minsan they need oxygen or air. So, kung airtight yung pinaglagyan, so posibleng hindi sila mabubuhay dahil kulang sila sa supply ng oxygen.
After the break, we'll bring in the experts to examine the body of evidence. By definition, the body of Lola Ibe is a mummy. Her family, however, claims that nothing special was done to the body before it was buried. And we do know that once in a while, mummies do form naturally, under extreme conditions.
Ang situation nito, parang malapit ito sa mummification sa Egypt na nililibing nila sa pyramid. So parang semento rin yan nung unang panahon. So airtight rin yan. Nung una, nilalagyan na nila nung klaseng dahon, napipreserve pa rin. Kahit na tinarakpa lang ng dahon yan, napreserve pa rin.
A mummy is a corpse whose skin and its other organs have been preserved by intentional or natural means. Perhaps the most popular mummies around the globe are the Egyptian mummies. They are sought after by the world's largest museums. Egyptian pharaohs Ramses I and Tutankhamen are some of the finest specimens of mummies.
Ang mummification kasi, ginagawa lang ito doon sa mga royal family o class ka. Kahit na dito sa atin, sa Pilipinas, na nag-practice din tayo ng mummification, doon lang din natin ginagamit sa yung mga leader ka sa isang tribo.
While Egyptian mummies are world-renowned, engineer Orlando Abinion of the National Museum believes the Philippine mummies easily surpass them.
Dito din sa atin, sa Pilipinas, ang nag-practice ng mummification, isang tribo lang. Dito sa Pilipinas, yung tinatawag na yung mga ibaloy ng Ifugao, ng Benguet, yung mga ibaloy. So, even sa Benguet, maraming doon, ethnic group. Meron tayong Kalangoya, meron tayong Kankanai, tapos Ibaloy. Ibaloy lang ang nag-practice ng mummification.
Para ma-preserve silang mabuti, tinuturukan namin sila nag-i-inject kami ng formalin. Silang ganon.
To give us an idea, engineer Abinion showed us how to preserve a carcass by using chemicals.
Pag in-injection mo sila, tinurukan mo ng formalin, matitigas na yan. Well, sa animals, again, ginagamit namin mga 10% ang concentration ng formalin. Eventually, tina-transfer sa ethyl alcohol, like yung sa crabs na nakita niyo. Lahat ito nasa ethyl alcohol na.
In the old days, salt or other salt-like substances are commonly used to remove moisture and speed up the dehydration process. Mummies may also be formed naturally. Environmental conditions such as extremely low temperature, acidity, salinity, and extreme dryness could help preserve corpses.
Ang proseso naman nila, medyo primitive ang method ng ginamit natin. Wala tayong hindi natin dinadissect, hindi natin tinatanggal yung parts intact. Kasi ang belief naman ng mga Ibaloy tribe, hindi mo dapat tanggalan ng parte ng katawan ng tao. So lahat ng parts mo are sacred.
In the case of Lola Ibe, some experts say that Kasanayan, being a coastal town, could have contributed to her condition.
So kung ang burial ground nila, burial site niya, especially kung malapit sa dagat to, most probably mataas din ang salt content ng lupa kung saan siya nakabaon. So it also contributes to the preservation.
To stay a product, to be hindi siya mabulok for the longest time, they also find ways na nature, like for example, asin, tubig dagat, low temperature, making it more, making the cell intact at hindi nakaka-cause ng more decay. Meaning, kung mapipigilan ang bacterial infiltration, number 2, kung mapipigilan ang automatic apoptosis or yung parang suicidal na mga cells by external factors, then it would simply mean that it will also delay the decay process.
When we return, we'll find out how nature helped this corpse elude its natural course.
Experts speculate that Lola Ibe's remains have been preserved due to a number of factors. Mostly, it points to the conditions of her burial that did not permit bacteria to thrive.
Kasi ang bacteria, sa environment, sobrang dami nila. Like for example, ang tagihawa sa form na may bacteria na very prone, like Staphylococcus aureus, sila yung very abundant sa environment, lalo na aerobic sila, meaning nabubuhay sila with oxygen. So for example, given a body na namatay na with no defense itself, wala silang enough immune system to protect themselves, then easily they can be invaded by this kind of bacteria. At yung mga bacteria ito, mabilis silang dumami. Enough na mapipredict mo for how long can they take down a body.
As an experiment, we did a common household method of preserving food. We placed a piece of meat inside the freezer. And we placed another one on a table, leaving it at room temperature for 12 hours. By plain logic, the meat left outside of the freezer will decay faster. But at what rate will it spoil compared to the one placed in the freezer? We brought the samples to a laboratory for a test.
So ang ginagawa namin dito ngayon is sinaswab namin yung outer part ng meat. Gusto kasi namin malaman kung ano ang bacteria na outside ng meat. So ang next step after lagyan ng stain is i-read na siya sa microscope para makita natin kung ano yung mga bacteria na nandun sa mga meat na dun sa specimen na pinanin natin yung ano.
Frozen slime.
Sa initial findings natin, nakita natin na dun sa fresh meat, mas maraming bacteria, times 3 actually, kaysa dun sa frozen. So, ganun yung difference ng mga growth ng bacteria dun sa fresh meat at saka dun sa frozen meat. Mas maraming bacteria, mas mabilis ang pagdidecay.
Dr. Ramos suspects that there is something intrinsic in Lola Ibe that delayed the decomposition of her body and ultimately halted it.
Minsan nga dumadating sa point na the body is too resistant sa decay process because it has evolved already to something undecayable. Katulad ng nakikita mo sa mga punong kahoy. Nung nilibing siya, meron siyang unique in her na hindi siya agad-agad na-atake ng any external factors like bacterial infiltration or any hazardous microorganism. Number 2, chances are nakapsulate siya sa isang lugar kung saan wala nakakapasok na masyadong bagay that could further delay her decay. Finally, I think during those period of time, the body had already developed a certain defenses that until now, even if it's now exposed with whatever, it's resilient na or resistant na sa any possible decay.
Lola Ibe's corpse may be resistant to decay, but does it pose a health risk to others?
The risk is mainly from contamination, for example, of water supply. If it's contaminated by a dead body, like fecal material gets into the water system. So that's probably the only risk about it.
As for keeping the body at home and putting it on display, Public Health Officer Dr. Jarvis Punzalan says there's nothing in the books that can prevent the family from doing that.
I don't know. I could not find a specific section on what to do with the mummified remains of a dead person.
What is stated in the guidelines is the number of years before a corpse may be exhumed.
This person apparently died from a heart problem, so non-infectious. I think 10 years after the burial site was reopened to make way, and then when they opened the casket, the body was still well formed. So as far as the reopening, I don't think there was a violation there because it was already 10 years thereafter.
Coming up on Chances Are, the church's stand on this standing corpse.
Sa mga ganyan, nilalagay sila sa altar. Meaning, the body is respected.
This is the town of Kasanayan in Pilar, Capiz, home to Maria Basanes, or Lola Ibe. She lived an ordinary life, mostly staying home and taking care of their small business.
Ano po naman ang sanhi kung bakit siya namatay, tsaka ilang taon siya namatay?
Namatay siya dahil sa heart attack. Kaya mataba siya.
But as simple as her life was, her prolonged existence is far from being mundane. 80 years after her death, Lola Ibe's body has only undergone minor decomposition, which has led some people to believe that she is miraculous.
Pero kahit halimbawa, in the case of the incorruptibles, maraming mga santo kasi na mga incorruptible. Halimbawa, si Saint Vincent de Paul sa Paris, France, incorruptible yun. Si Saint Pius X sa Vatican sa isa sa mga side altars, although the body is covered with wax. Pero sa mga ganyan, nilalagay sila sa altar. Meaning, the body is respected.
According to Father Victor Bendico from the Archdiocese of Capiz, the condition of Lola Ibe's remains are similar to some saints. Conclusions should not be made in haste.
I do not know if it's really a miracle, pero it could be na baka nagkakaroon lang ng mga chemical reaction yung katawan ng tao.
While the Church views the display of Lola Ibe's corpse differently, it cannot impose its doctrine on the family.
Kung may namamatay man, as much as possible, ililibing yan sa lupa. Because yung ating katawan, as Christians, sa mga Kristiyano, sa mga Katoliko, we consider our body as the temple of the Holy Spirit. So it is consecrated to God, and hence we have to respect it. So we have to give it a proper and respectful burial, diba?
Most of our experts agree that the natural preservation of Lola Ibe's remains may be extraordinary, but it being a modern-day miracle, not quite.
So it is very rare and siguro kailangan pa natin yung further studies kung papayag ang mga descendant o mga relatives nito. Kasi so far hindi pa ata nadaan ng mga medical o scientific studies yan. Just siguro visual lang nila nakikita. So kung papayag nga, maganda yung pag-aralan na pero isasabing miraculous, it has to be proven pa muna.
Personally, I think it's more of something that happened by mere random thing that took place. It just happened that way. Or I don't know kung swerte niya because she's now being displayed. I would not want that to happen to myself.
So pwede pa rin natin dahil mayroon naman ng pangyayari dito sa lupa na hindi natin kayang i-explain. So, pwedeng mangyari na ganyan na parang tinuturing nilang milagro. Pwede rin yan. Hindi natin ma-itsapwera yan, ma-exclude.
It's actually a miracle already. Kasi 0.01% yan na makikita mo. And it's unlikely to happen to all. And nangyari kay Lola, so I think it's already a miracle for her to experience that.
Miracles are happening all around us. Some may have witnessed it, experienced it, or maybe you are the miracle yourself. So why don't you share your stories with us? Send your miracle to Chances Are at GMA Network Center, EDSA Corner, Timog Avenue, Quezon City. Or you can email us at chancesare@gmanetwork.com. Chances are, you can cause another miracle to happen.
Last April 26, 2009, Chances Are held the successful fun run Step Up for a Cause. Proceeds of the fundraising event went to the Fe del Mundo Medical Center. We have a letter from Miss Eliza Bengzon from the Fe del Mundo Angels. God, who is love, created us in His image and likeness. Hence, the greatest and deepest desire of our whole being, mind, body, and spirit, is to love and be loved. We are angels when we minister God's love to each other. Being in love is becoming an angel. An angel is a trustworthy caregiver who nurses, heals, comforts, nourishes, and reaches out to bring life. We do the work of angels in carrying out the vision mission of our angel founder with the integrity and excellence of love. We are angels in training, love growing within us. inspiring us and guiding us, and love bringing a foretaste of heaven to Fe del Mundo's hospital. To the Fe del Mundo angels at QTV 11 who spread love, care, compassion, and healing through the medical missions you funded with Step Up Run for a Cause, our heartfelt thanks. Eliza Bengzon.
There are many sides to a story, and people have their own versions of reality. When something remarkable happens, people's interpretations will always vary. Because in the grand scheme of things, chances are, anything is possible.